Okay, next section here of the algebra chapter, expanding and regrouping expressions. Now, expanding means to multiply or to remove brackets, okay? And regrouping expressions means we obviously have to simplify, okay? Which means add and subtract. And again, we're talking about our like terms here. So this very much is based on last week's work. It's all multiplication of terms, but there's just a little bit more to it. And what you can see here is back-to-back brackets, which you've probably seen before. Okay, so back-to-back brackets, and I've just written here the array method, so a different way of doing it. There's actually 3 different ways, so the arrows, the FOIL method, and the array method, and you could use any of those 3 to answer any question that deals with back-to-back brackets. It just depends on which you prefer. Mostly people probably use the arrows, and then a little bit more recently the FOIL method or the array method. The array method is more visual, okay, so that would suit more visual learners. So what we mean by the arrow method is multiplying, okay, each term by each other, but the arrows just help you make sure you've multiplied each term correctly. So we're looking here at 2 back-to-back brackets. Okay, we have an x term and a constant in each of them, and we have to multiply every term by each other. So what we start off by doing is multiplying the x by both terms in the second bracket, and then the -7 by both terms in the second bracket. And what you need to remember is when we do this, you're most likely going to have to simplify your answer, okay, which make sure you don't forget to do that. So first of all here we've x by x. Now remember last week, x by x is the same as x to the power of 1 times x to the power of 1. And remember, when we have the same base, we just simply add the 2 powers together. So that's our x squared. So that was from last week's stuff as well. So x by x is x squared. X by plus 3 is plus 3x. -7 by x is -7x, and -7 plus 3 is -4. Now you're always going to check here is, can you simplify this any further? The x squared can't be simplified because there's no other x squared term, and the constant can't be simplified because there's no other constant. However, in the middle here you'll see there is 2 x terms that can be simplified. So our final answer is x squared plus 3x minus 7x is minus 4x. Again, you could use your calculator to check those if you needed to. And we've the -4 on its own here. This is what you call a quadratic trinomial. Okay, and you will have seen this before. But we're going to deal with that later on in the videos when it comes to factorising. But just so you can identify that, it's probably something you've seen before. When you have our x squared term, our x term and our constant, it's our quadratic trinomial. So looking at the FOIL method, okay, and the FOIL basically means first by first, so the first term by the first term, the outside term by the outside term, so the 2 outside terms multiplied by each other. The I is for the inside, so the 2 inside terms multiplied by each other. And the L is for last, the 2 last terms in the bracket multiplied by each other. So it's just a quick way to remember. Exact same as the arrows, but it's just helping you remember. So the first term by the first term here, we have 6y multiplied by 2y. So 6 by 2 gives us 12. And y by y gives us y squared. Next, we've the outside term by the outside term. So we've plus 6y multiplied by -4. So first of all is our signs. Plus by a minus gives us minus. 6y multiplied by 4. 6 4s are 24y. I is inside, so the inside term by the inside term. -3 multiplied by plus 2y, minus by a plus again is minus, and 3 by 2y is 6y. And then last by last is -3 by -4, minus by minus gives us plus, and 3 by 4 gives us 12. So same as above, we've no other y squared term and we've no other constant, so they can't be changed, but our two inside terms are both y terms. So what that means, if they're both y terms, it means we have to simplify them here at this point. So we've 12y squared minus 24y minus 6y. Again, you could use your calculator, or just thinking if you owe someone €24 and then you owe them another €6, you now owe them €30. And we can't simplify that any further because we've a y squared term, a y term, and our constant. Okay, so same idea, just two different methods. Again here we have our two back-to-back brackets. Okay, so keep in mind you could actually just use the arrows all the time, or the FOIL method all the time, or this new method. So it's completely up to you. You don't need to use all three, and you're never going to be told you have to use a particular method. It's completely up to you what you decide. This one, as I said, is a little bit more visual. It's called the array method. Probably haven't seen it before. It's quite recent, but what you do is you write, so you draw a rectangular box divided into 4, and you divide out the terms. So here on the top, we're going to write this full expression across the top. We're going to divide it into 2. So we have 2 minus 2b, and here we're going to write 2b minus 1. And what you do is you multiply each term by each other to find the area of each smaller rectangle. So if we were to find the area of this rectangle, we would multiply 2 by 2b. So 2 by 2b gives us 4b. If we were multiplying the area of this rectangle here, we'd be multiplying minus 2b by the length of this, which is also 2b. So it's plus by minus is minus. 2b by 2b is 4b squared. Down here, if we were to find the area of this rectangle, it would be 2, because these are the same length. So 2 by minus 1, so plus by minus is minus, and 2 by 1 is 2. And then this rectangle here, we have minus 1 by minus 2b, minus by minus is plus, and 1 by 2b is 2b. Now we do have to still simplify, because if I wrote those 4 boxes out together, so minus 4b squared plus 4b plus 2b minus 2, we would see that we do have to simplify those two terms in the middle. So our final answer is minus 4b squared plus 4b plus 2b. 4 plus 2 is 6b. And we've our minus 2 at the end there. Okay, so 3 different methods you could use. Okay, it doesn't matter which method you use, they're all going to give you the exact same answer. But it's just important to make sure you're confident with the method you've decided to use. Okay, so I'm going to stop that video there before we move on to factorizing. There's quite a bit when we move on to factorizing, so I want to keep it on its own. So that section there is multiplying back-to-back brackets or expanding and regrouping expressions.